On this episode of Beer Blues BS, Kidder and I survived the snowstorm, and we are going to exchange our stories of how we did it. It's been a week for me. It's been a week for him. We're both a little tired. It's a weird Sunday night recording for us, but don't worry. We'll try and make it as entertaining as we can as we talk a little bit about Marvel shows. We're going to talk a little bit about hockey. Definitely going to talk a little. Well, actually, don't talk that much about wrestling. It's kind of an odd show, but don't worry. You're in a good place. We're going to have a good time. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, porpoises, enjoy time with friends.
The Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Oh, come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that knows you're just not being a good parent unless you spend at least one day covered in toddler snot. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Jaco, you know, it's that time of the season. You know, it's that time of the year. And I didn't know that you got snotted from me too, but it's not a problem. Happy to be here. Thanks. I'll be here all night. How you doing?
It has been a day. I'll put it that way. We were talking a little bit in the pre-show, but for the audience, Little Miss is fighting a cold. And so I got to spend a good chunk of the day with her. And yeah, I mean, I'm surprised, like, you can't see all the snot stains on this hoodie. I was basically a Kleenex for her most of the day. And at one point she felt like, oh, I need to give Dad a kiss. And so then I got snot all over my face. And yeah, it's been using a lot of antibac because I don't want to catch this cold. I do not want it whatsoever, and so I've been trying to like avoid it like the plague. But it was tough today. It was a tough day today for that. So, and hey, because of that, Kidder, I know we could probably sit here, ramble a little bit more, but I think we should get to everybody's favorite topic. Mostly because I'm really thirsty, and I only brought one beverage down here, and I've been waiting to crack into it. So, Kidder, let's get to everybody's favorite segment, What's on Tap? And since I introduced,
probably should.
What are you having, Kidder?
Oh man, I gotta decide. Well, I happened to make a trip to the store. And I probably should go with some of the older stock, get rid of the older stock, but we've also had that on the show. And next week is wrestling pay-per-view premium live event. So I might want to save that for next week. So we'll go with Grain Belt Northeast. Yes. America's Amber Lager. The true Midwest lager. 4.7% alcohol by volume. Grainbelt.com. Welcome to the neighborhood. That's right. You're now in the neighborhood of the Midwest. And that's about all she wrote. It's brewed and canned by August Shell Brewing Company in New Ulm, Minnesota, and 12 fluid ounces. There you go. Let's pull out the old trusty koozie here. The Yeti koozie. That, of course, converts it into a Fighting Sioux koozie. I mean, it's having some difficulty putting this in here tonight, so doesn't want to be converted, but dang it, you're going to get converted one way or another. Wow. That was something. There we go. We have now successfully converted it into a North Dakota Northeast. And I don't believe I've had this on the show before. It's been a while since I've had it in real life. Get the sniffer sniffing. Got that amber ale, nice golden scent to it. The perfect amount of graininess coming out of it, because of course it is a grain belt. Yeah. Like I'm chewing on a wheat stalk. I will give this, as I don't believe I've had it on the show before, solid 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. I do enjoy a good grain belt Northeast. So good call. Kidder, I'm going to have something different on the show tonight. Because and here I'll work in the Howard Health update, and for the audience a little bit behind the curtain. We're recording this on a Sunday night, and Kidder, I get to spend the better part of tomorrow in a small metal tube. They're going through and doing the MRI, and because with the MRI they do part of it with contrast, and I don't know what's going to mess with the contrast and such. I decided to maybe do something different besides drinking alcohol, just because I don't want to mess with it. It's going to be a bigger thing. So, Kidder, what I have here is a can of Liquid Death.
Yes.
Liquid Death mountain water. Drinking water from the Alps. Murder your thirst. For those who don't know what Liquid Death is, it's basically canned water. The guy who created this company, fun story, he created it after attending the 2009 Vans music festival. And while he was there, he noticed all of these artists basically drinking water out of Monster cans. And he, because they were trying to keep up an image, but stay hydrated. And he thought, why hasn't anybody created a brand that takes and looks cool, looks like a rocker thing, but is really just water? And it took him quite a few years to do it. But we now have Liquid Death. I've tried some of these sparkling water variants of this recently. They're okay, but I'm not a huge sparkling water fan. But I thought I'd try this mountain water one. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's water, but it's fine. It's refreshing. So, yeah, that's what I will be sipping on, so that I, again, don't mess with the tests tomorrow, because I get to do 2 sessions of MRI, Kidder. I think the first one is supposed to be like an hour and a half in the tubes, and then I get a break, and then I get to come back and do another 2 hours in the tube. So fun times. I'm not looking forward to it. Not that I'm like claustrophobic or anything like that, but for anybody, if you've never gotten an MRI, it's not as restful as you might think. Like because it's loud, and so it's not like you can like lay there and like sleep and such. It's just a constant set of noise and grinding and clanking, and yeah. So I'm hoping, because I've gotten 2 MRIs in the past, and with one of them they actually played music for me, which was good. It helped keep my mind engaged, because I could sit there and kind of do the math and keep track of like, well, if the average song is like 4 minutes, I could kind of keep track of where I was and how long I had. The second time I went through and did it, they didn't play anything. It was just an hour and a half of just in the tube, and that's a lot of time to be alone with one's thoughts. So I'm hoping I get some entertainment at least. Otherwise, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. But hey, Kidder, I'm just going to ask: you going to be home tomorrow at some point, kind of before noon?
Likely.
Okay.
If I make it through tonight.
Well, I'm asking because I have a beer for you from the local geek. So I get
Sounds like a setup.
Well, no, I have a break between the two sessions, and it's like I don't really want to go to work for like 2 hours. So I'm trying to think of like what can I do, and I don't necessarily want to come home. So I was like, what can I do for 2 hours? I might try and get a haircut because the hair is getting a little long. But the other thought was like, oh, I could run down to your place and deliver a beer if you're going to be around.
Yes.
I should be here.
Yeah. Well, I will plan on that, sir. So
Sounds like fun.
I mean, it'll be something. It'll be something. I mean, it's going to probably be like around 10 o'clock.
Good thing I have my alarm set.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to get out of the first session at like 9:45, and then my second session starts at 11:45. So if I get out at 9:45, about 15 minutes to drive down to your place. So yeah, about 10 o'clock. So here's your warning. You're less than 24-hour notice. So
12-hour notice, basically.
Just about, yep. So. So,
Well,
and
I'll have the pants ready.
Okay, well that'll be good. That'll be good. I'm also going to leave with you because you're more likely to see him than I am. I'm going to leave you a cold smoke to pass on to one JS Gunslinger. Yeah, he helped me out during a situation this week. So we had our new site supervisor for the chateau start this week, and she spent the first 2 days in Bismarck. Well, on day 2, so Tuesday, she got down to her car. She was going to leave a little bit early, make sure she got to the Heritage Center in time, and her car didn't start. So, classic. Yeah, she tried replacing the air filter, and then she called me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll come get you. She tried to call any and every like mechanic and such that she could find while she was waiting for me to get there to pick her up. And because of the storm, Kidder, that was coming in, everybody's like, oh, there's a storm coming in. Gotta get my car into the shop. And so like, she was like, they were like booked out until like November, which I know is, like this next week, but I mean, still it's, over a week before she could get in anywhere. So, once we got her to the Heritage Center and I got her into kind of her first training sessions of the day and such, I shot a message over to JS. I just, hey, are you in town? It's like, yep. And I said, are you around this afternoon? You could help me with this. And he's like, I could do it on my lunch break. So JS came up on his lunch break and met us at the hotel and looked at her car and cleaned the oxygen, the O2 sensor on it, gave it a thorough look over. We got the car up and running, and she was good to go. So I owe JS a beer for that, and I happen to have a cold smoke left in the fridge, so I'm going to use you as a courier and pass it down to him as a way of saying thank you for coming in and helping out in that. I know she greatly appreciated it. Because of some of her situation, she needed to be able to get back to Dickinson that night. And so she was greatly appreciated that somebody who didn't know her would just come out and give up a lunch break to help her out.
The magic of JS.
So I owe him that. She continued to have further car problems that weren't related to that. She because we had the snowstorm Wednesday, and on her way home on Wednesday night, both the heat and the defrost went out in her Jeep. So she's renting a car to kind of get through work while she gets it into a mechanic in Dickinson, but I feel for her. That's just frustrating. So, but Kidder, we had our first snowstorm of the season.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I know you're well aware. I was going to ask, how was it for you?
It was something. First of all, so last Monday, the guy who we've been talking to, my dad and I, got scheduled, wanted to get our lawnmowers and snowblowers in, get them run over, checked out, all the things, bells, whistles, make sure that everything works correctly, not leaking, change the oil, that sort of thing. He was able to get around to picking it up on Monday. And he actually asked, he's like, storm's coming. I'm like, I know. Are you sure you don't want me to pick it up like next week or something? And I'm like, no. Just take it now. Look it over. Make sure it works. Get it over with. Because I partially, on one hand, knew that it wouldn't be terrible. Like, it was bad enough. But I knew that it wouldn't be super outrageous. I had the potential, but I knew. And then on the other hand, I went, I've made a grave error. So storm came. We in Bismarck received in one day, I believe it was 8.6 or 8.8 inches of snow, which broke the daily snowfall record for that date. I think it was for Thursday. And it is what it is. I did not shovel or touch it or do anything to it until yesterday. And here's why. 3/4 of it had melted or blown off of my driveway. So it took me about 10 minutes to clear the sidewalks and the driveway and the little ridge that the plows had made. I actually had a guy who was driving around with his snowblower and shovel and whatnot swing by as I was shoveling and ask if he could help. And I kindly declined. Number one, because, I have a snowblower. It's just that I don't actually have it at the moment. But also, something I chose to do, and I don't need anybody else to suffer. And, well, because I was wearing my pants without my wallet. So I would feel bad if I could not pay him. But I still appreciated the thought. Did not get stuck, did not slide, did not get into any kind of crashes. So thankful for that. Even though a lot of people did. Things, Yeah,
I know. Kidder was out in Medora during the storm. So that was fun. I didn't really plan. Like, I made sure, like, Wednesday, like, I had plenty of food. I was prepared. Although I was in such a hurry to get out to Medora, like, I left hat, gloves, boots, all back in Bismarck. So that was a little bit of a mistake on my part, but I had plenty of food and other things to, like, I was going to be just fine. So Wednesday was okay. Thursday, I had to go and help our new site supervisor get her rental car. So I was out kind of during all of that. Because it was kind of a work related thing, I got to take the site truck, so I had 4-wheel drive, so I was fine. But I mean, it's still on the way back from Dickinson to Medora. It took me an hour to get back, just driving safely. And shortly thereafter, they put up the no travel advised on all the roads, so that was fine. We closed the chateau down early Thursday, and then Friday. The big question was my little matrix going to make it? And truthfully, by the time I left on Friday, like the roads were for the most part pretty good. A little sketchy, kind of in the Glen Ullin area. I only saw like 2 cars in the ditch and had one semi jackknife, and there's a bit of construction right outside of Glen Ullin. And I think the semi, because you have to, it's one of those where you move from one, like the eastbound side of the interstate over to the westbound into one lane for like a small stretch. And I think this semi was going too fast out that inner, and he ended up jackknifing, ended up in the ditch. So that was fun, but made it home just fine. It took a little longer, but I made it. So it wasn't too bad of a storm. I'm okay. And my driveway was nice and clear. My dad came over and snowblowed my driveway while I was gone so that my wife could get to work. So
What a nice guy.
I mean, yes.
Even though we don't like his taste in beer.
Well, that's okay. We can put up with his poor taste in beer.
We can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
I'm surprised that you're still alive with all that liquid death.
I'm burning through this really quickly. So it's although I'm still fairly thirsty, so I don't know if like the whole like murdering my thirst, if it's really doing a great job on that. Oh, there's more on this can I didn't read. What do we got here? This infinitely recyclable can of stone cold mountain water came straight from the Alps to murder your thirst. When a group of teenagers set off into the mountains for a weekend of drinking regular water in plastic bottles, they became haunted by an aluminum can of mountain water that was dead set on murdering their thirst and recycling their souls. Okay, come up with a different slogan, guys. Once cracked open, no thirst is safe from liquid death. After ritually dismembering its thirst victims, this brutal can of water used the severed body parts of dead thirsts to build itself a flesh suit, which it used as a disguise to get a job in marketing. But liquid death never took the job. It just murdered a bunch more thirst instead. Hashtag death to plastic. We donate 10% of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. So, there you go. Sorry I missed that in the first part.
That's
But
kind
I'm
of
going to be
hot.
It is. I mean, that's more description than we see on most beer cans. The bad news is I'm going to be out of this quickly, and I'm going to need to go get something else to stay hydrated down here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least the first snowstorm of the season is done. Hopefully people will now have remembered how to drive in snowy weather. Well, listen. The first one's always bad. We'll see if they learn their lesson when the second storm comes. Kidder has no faith in humanity. For those who can't see his video feed, every time I say this, he's been shaking his head no. So that's just filling you in on what's going on his camera.
Classic Kidder.
So I since I wasn't here, Kidder, and you were in the Bismarck area, were there a lot of accidents with this snowstorm?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it was very icy around town. And people, for some reason, don't know how to use the second middle pedal of slowing down.
So, yeah. Fun. I'm glad I missed it. Glad I missed it. I will say, Kidder, I did stop in Dickinson at Taco John's because that's where I've been, like, when I come home, I grab food from there because, like, the Taco Bell is closed at 5, so I'm never going to get there in time for that. So go to Taco John's because you can get a nice burrito that's easy to eat as you're driving. And Kidder, like, they had clearly had, like, the snowplows come through and make the ridge, but then nobody went out and cleaned it out. So, like, there was a dip, and I mean a huge dip, like, to get into the, like, I was, like, in fear of my car's life as I was trying to pull in. So, luckily, if you went to the very corner of kind of the driveway, it wasn't as bad and you could get in. But, I mean, it was probably at least like a half-foot drop. So if you didn't have like a big beefy truck, you were bottoming out going in. So that was fun.
Beefy.
Gives you a whole new sense for crunch.
Is that like a Crunch Supreme?
I think that's the other taco joint. Kidder's like, I don't know. I don't eat Mexican food.
Oddly enough, I have been eating more overall.
Yeah, I mean, you have gotten better. I will say that. You have taken to eating more Mexican food. Like I remember, like when like trying to get you to go to Cadoba's was like pulling teeth. So, at least that's changed.
I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Speaking of not knowing, hey Kidder, how are our Avs doing? I was going to ask you for a hockey update because I have not been following.
See, I thought that you had chosen the night to follow, and perhaps you followed the other night as well, and that's why we're where we are.
No, I honestly have not. In fact, the last hockey thing I got was actually on the drive home Friday night. I tuned in to the Fighting Sioux game where they were pounding the Mavericks. Like I tuned in just in time for their fourth goal. Although after that, it was like we scored one more and then they scored two. So that's what I got to listen to. But there was somebody different on the call on Friday night. Kidder, it wasn't the usual voice of the Fighting Sioux, and he was not as good. And I say that because both of the Mavericks goals, when they scored, I thought it was us. So because he put just enough into it, it's going down, passes, shoots, scores. I'm like, all right, yeah, go. He goes, Mavericks have finally got a point. I'm like, wait, what? He got me both times. So I wasn't real happy about that.
Maybe you're listening to a bootleg feed from Mankato or something. Bouncing off the stratosphere, getting those bootleg signals.
No, it was the UND feed because the period break intermission was the guy interviewing I forget what his name was, but he played with Eddie Belfour, so they were talking about that time. But yeah, I fell for that twice. So, but that said, we got the we got the win while I was listening. But it sounds like our Avs are not doing so hot.
Well, here's the thing. UND, fighting Sioux, of course, last weekend played the Gophers, and they took a split. Whatever. Lost Friday night. They won Saturday night. They came out in the business suits and made it happen. That was good. Plus, the Avs won in overtime, I believe, that last week, which we obviously enjoy as well. Mm-hmm. And then I believe it was Tuesday, Avalanche set the NHL record for the most road wins in a row at 15. Love it. And then they went on the road to Pittsburgh. I think it was either Thursday I think it was Thursday. And they lost. And then tonight, or actually earlier today, they played in Buffalo and they lost. In fact, I think they scored 1 goal in Pittsburgh and they scored 0 in today's game. And, one thing about it, and I'm sure you can't see, wearing the old Tyson Jost shirt here. Tyson Jost now plays for Buffalo Sabres, and he scored the 3rd goal against the Avs today. So, again, adding the extra fuel to the fire of why did the Avs choose to trade him for somebody who they later got rid of? I think. Because wasn't it Sebastian Aho or something like that? I don't remember who the trade was. I'm still bitter about it because, Jost should still be with the Avalanche, even if it was just a money thing. But clearly he's still able to score goals. He's still playing in the NHL and not in the minor leagues. And so, yeah, he should still be around with the Avs doing things.
Nico Strum.
That's right. Sebastian Aho plays for the Hurricanes, I think. Something like that. But, yeah. Strum, I don't think, plays for the Avs anymore.
One moment. While I'm looking that up, Kidder, it's funny. The episode that will come out next week stars, Farva on his return. And we were talking about Jim Thornton and if he was retired or not. And earlier this week, it was announced that he retired. So
yeah, we called it 4 weeks early. That's why people need to watch the Triple B every week, because we're predicting the future in real time when you watch it.
Mm-hmm. So to get back to this, on March 15th, 2022, he was traded by the Wild's division rivals, the Colorado Avalanche, in exchange for Tyson Jost. On June 26, 2022, Strom helped the Avalanche claim their first Stanley Cup in 21 years. On the back of his success with the Avs, Strom, as a free agent, was signed to a 3-year, $6 million contract with the San Jose Sharks on July 13th, 2022.
You see what I'm saying? He's not even with the team anymore.
Nope. He's playing for the Sharks. All this fun facts you're getting.
Just going to continually shake my head in extreme disappointment.
Well, speaking of disappointment, Kidder, anything else you're disappointed about?
The first episode of Marvel's Defenders. Kind of a snoozer.
Yeah.
My gosh, I mean, I know they wanted to expand the multiverse, but I don't know how far we needed to expand it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was kind of truthfully the thing about all of the Netflix Marvel shows. They're all kind of slow burns. You know, they're not necessarily the most like action. Like there's not good action, but they're all slow burns. Like it takes forever to kind of get to some of like the actual like villain and face off and all of that. And so I enjoy them, but talk about something that could have done actually maybe a little bit better if it was like 3 episodes shorter. This is usually my take on all of those. So I know we always complain about seasons of shows being like too short, not enough episodes. But these, I kind of feel like they're more of like a mini series than they are like a full series or season of a show. So, which I think is why it takes me forever to watch. Like I'm still watching Luke Cage. It's been like a year or two since I've watched the last episode. It's just because it's like it's such a slow grind, and it feels like there are a lot of episodes where nothing happens, where it's just like, So,
I mean, I don't know. Try and make it through. Secret Invasion was pretty good. Finished that one.
yeah, you're one of the few who think that.
Well, I mean, listen, it could have been a lot worse. Okay. What I will say, that show, starring obviously Samuel L. Jackson, not his best performance. Okay. But what could have made the whole series better is a couple moments, like one in particular, when he could have thrown in, and I know they've done it before, watching Jessica Jones, plenty of it, a moment where there needed to be a and I'm sorry for that, but it needed to be said because it needed to be in the show. And it wasn't. And it really would have added that little like to it. But it wasn't there. And so it left me wanting something of substance. But it's apparently a lead into the Marvels movie coming out right about when this episode is out. Or maybe a couple weeks ago now. Something. So there's that. Other Marvel related things. I'm enjoying Loki season 2. I even get messages from Loki through Messenger.
How's that for you?
Poignant. But this is a pretty big twist in the last episode. Obviously, no spoilers. And by the time you get around to watching it, you won't even remember what I'm twisting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm behind. We're on still like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That one's also kind of a bit of a slog.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with some of these shows, it just feels like, maybe you guys should have just made a movie. Because if they would have made a movie, they would have maybe trimmed down some of the fat that's on these things, because it's almost like, or, really like when you look at like the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's like with what I've seen so far, I'm like, you could cut some of these these sideline, these subplots there. That's the word. And kind of just tighten it up, and it'd make a decent Marvel movie. But otherwise it's just kind of like, it's just, we're going to extend this out further and further and further. And you're just kind of like, okay. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'd like to get through that one. I'd like to get to Loki season 1 and some of the other ones. Moon Knight, I was really curious about. Looking forward to seeing that one. So that there's some things to see, and there's some of the movies that we haven't gone to a Marvel movie since Endgame. So it'll be, one of those. I'll probably get into them here. Junior's, he's not quite at the age where he can watch Marvel movies, but he's getting closer. So I'm sure when he gets to that point, me and him will start watching all the way back at the beginning and start working our way forward. So we'll see. But he understands, Skinner, you'll appreciate this. He understands like the concept of good guy and bad guy, to the point of like tonight, I had a moment where the kids were like playing quietly, and I'm like, I could take a little break, scroll on Facebook a little bit, see what's going on in the world. And ended up on a little short clip of a hockey fight. And Junior just kind of sticks his head up over the couch and looks at to see what I'm watching. They go, who good guy? Who bad guy? I'm like, well, neither of them are from teams that we care about, so doesn't really matter. It was a good one. It was a goalie fight even. It was I think it's Calgary and the Jets. So the thing that I think you would care the most about, Kidder, was, yes, it was a goalie fight. The losing goalie was none other than former Minnesota Wild player Cam Talbot. Okay, well, you've been watching Marvel. What else has been gracing the home screen of one Mark Kidder?
Gold Rush. Watching Gold Rush every week. Star Trek Lower Decks. Next week is the season finale already, because again, not enough episodes. Only 10 in this season, and then it'll be another year until get to see anything new there, which is, of course, disappointing. Let's see. Watch the brand new South Park feature tonight. It's on Paramount Plus. That had some funny moments into it. Making fun of Disney as well. So that's pretty good.
Hey, since not to interrupt, but speaking of Disney, did you see the news, good sir? The Doctor is coming to Disney Plus.
Yes. So now we don't have to bootleg the high definition stuff. We can actually watch it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have never bootlegged anything in my life.
Don't mind me dying just a little bit. Dying inside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, I'm glad I get to watch the specials. So I have a while before they're out, but get to watch them. I'll be excited.
Yeah, you have quite some time, because you have a few to catch up on.
Oh, I'm not going to worry about catching up on anything. I'll just hop back in. You don't have to watch Doctor Who in order. Timey-wimey, man. Timey-wimey.
Yeah, there is something to be said about that, but still. Still.
Hey, it'll be all right. I'll hop in because like I didn't see most of like Capaldi's run, and I didn't see any of the 13th Doctor. So I'll be okay. I'll be okay on that. So you said you're still watching Gold Rush. I can't believe that show is still on.
Oh yeah. Yep. Love it. Taking souls and digging holes. Wait. Wrong Gold Rush.
It's one of those things like because we used to watch it when we lived together. But I don't know. I was never quite as into it as you were. That's for sure. But I don't know. I got tired of watching it. Because it seemed like it was always the same show for the longest time. We're hoping to get gold, but then this problem occurred. Well, we didn't get any gold today, and it's just kind of like, okay. Meh.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, but I'm the same way with most of like the reality TV shows that were on like the History Channel. Ice Road Truckers, same thing. We gotta haul this stuff on this ice road. Okay, it's dangerous. I don't know. I struggle with reality TV sometimes with that because like it's the same problem every week. I just, yeah. Even Deadliest Catch is kind of the same way. Although that one I enjoy a little bit more, but so
for a second I thought you were saying that you struggle with reality, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
Well, I mean, yes, that too. I mean, come on. I'm the guy whose brain keeps telling him that his foot's on fire. I mean, I clearly have the weakest grasp and grip on reality.
Fair enough. Yeah. Better than not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What else? I should remember. What I should actually do over the week is write down the things that I get a chance to watch or see, because yeah, we're getting old.
I mean, you could do that, but then I'm going to request that like you put like in one sentence, like an odd note about like each thing, like trying to summarize everything in like a single sentence so that when you get to this, like reading through the list, you'll be like, what the heck did I mean by this? Because that could provide some comedy. That could provide some real comedy. Gosh, I really haven't been watching much of anything. Even when I was snowed in at the chateau, I spent most of it answering work emails, surprisingly. I caught a Halloween stream by Jeremy Dooley on Dooley Noted. He was playing a ghost hunting game with a couple of friends. That was all right. It was more, I had it on more for background noise. But otherwise, that was really been kind of it. I haven't really been watching much of anything, which is sad. It really is sad. I have to try and change that. I did see Kidder because I don't know. It was on the news. Worth talking about. Tonight we had the big fight between Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. there were a lot of people who were in attendance for this. It was Nagannou's boxing debut. He's a former UFC fighter, I believe a former heavyweight title holder in the UFC, who vacated the title, left, and decided to switch over to boxing, taking on the current WBC heavyweight champion, one Tyson Fury, who has also made a couple of appearances in a WWE ring. And so therefore, Vince McMahon was in attendance, as was The Undertaker. So a couple of people checking it out. I didn't watch the fight, Kidder. I just kind of read the notes on it. And it sounds like a lot of people feel like Nagannou won the match. He had a very impressive debut. He hung with Fury through all 10 rounds. I believe he even knocked him down 3 times. But Fury ends up winning by split decision. So it's kind of interesting in that sense that Fury retained, but he did, which keeps his, I think now makes his record like 35-0-1. But if it was that close, I'm going to tell you there will probably be a rematch at some point. So it'll be interesting, but that's as close to wrestling news as I can give you.
Well, the wrestling news I can give you is that I watched about 30 seconds of Monday Night Raw in real time. The rest of it was at 5x speed. And SmackDown didn't record because it was on FS1, and the time that I had set it to record when it's supposed to air, it was some stupid baseball thing, so it did not. Yeah. So I did not see SmackDown at all, but skimmed through Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. Not terribly interested or excited for the matches coming up at Crown Jewel, which again is next Saturday. But it's at noon, so we can start it earlier and get it over with earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard much of anything for matches at Crown Jewel. I think all I know is like John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Boy, I butchered that name. I haven't even been drinking. Ugh. It's been a day. But that's the only match I've heard anything about. I don't know any other details whatsoever. So, which is kind of funny because they, like, when they first started doing like the Crown Jewel stuff, like they made big deals about it because they were bringing in some like of the big names to try and sell it. And I think now, as they're trying to downplay the fact that they're going to Saudi Arabia, I think that they're trying to like almost not make as big of a deal about it. Is Roman Reigns and LA Knight at Crown Jewel? I know they had like a contract signing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see LA Knight win that, but I don't think he's going to. Not with them already announcing or it being announced that apparently that they have Roman versus The Rock at Mania for the next 2 years. Everybody should just be picking Reigns at this point in the prediction game.
Yeah.
The next 2 years. I mean, I'm sure he will lose like 1 or 2 by like screwy finish, but for the most part, that's probably the easy, safe point. Which is sad because like LA Knight is hot right now. So having him lose, it's like, why is he even going for Roman's title? Put him on the other title. Let him go for that. You know, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. but I don't book WWE. I just make snide comments about it.
Clearly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Not not terribly impressed.
I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think of the last thing that was really impressive from WWE. I mean, the Bloodline stuff where it was Sammy and Kevin Owens, I think was kind of the last great like story run that they had, and then they didn't do anything with it, and that just seems like a waste. So yeah.
Now they split them. Sami Zayn's on Raw and KO is on SmackDown. And they have general managers again.
Yes, because Nick Aldis made his debut as a manager for some reason. The guy, Nick Aldis, held the NWA championship here for, gosh, it was an ungodly amount of time. Not quite Roman level, but it was a long time. It wasn't quite necessarily a full straight run because he lost to Cody Rhodes and then won it back. But he's had it for a long time. So he won it in 2017. Lost it to Cody at All in September of 2018. Won it back from him October of 2018. And then, okay, here he is. Yeah. He lost it in 2021, ending his reign at 1,043 days. So interesting, that he held the title there for that long, and now in WWE, he's just a manager. We'll see. I'm sure he'll have a match somewhere down the line with somebody. As I said, it feels like it's been a slow week, Kidder, in some regards.
Mm-hmm.
So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing after another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and unfortunately, probably if it's for you and like me, sometimes our work lives are not stuff that we can chat about, and so I've been heavy. This week was a lot of training the new site supervisor in, and there's just not a lot to talk about there, and that was kind of the dominating thing on my week. I will say this: I only have one more week in Medora, and then I'm back for good. So. That's at least a positive. I'm just hoping it doesn't snow next week. So,
well, it's funny you say that.
Damn it, Kidder.
Yep.
We got more of the fluffy stuff on the way.
A little bit. It's possible. Could be another Clipper coming in. We'll see.
I'm getting tired of these Alberta Clippers,
We should put up a wall. Our big fan. Blow it back.
I was going to suggest cannons.
Might be a bit aggressive, and here's why. The U.S. in a poll, and I don't know where the poll is, who conducted the poll, or what's going on with it, but said results show that citizens of the U.S. are more polite than Canadians.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going more for the fact that a Clipper is also a type of sailing vessel. So how do you deal with an Alberta Clipper? You sink it with cannon. But hey, kudos to us for being the polite people. Good. Kidder, you'll appreciate this. My new site supervisor, Doctor Who fan, but also a fan of obscure Canadian television. Like, we actually had a conversation in the office about Red Green.
All right.
And she's
If
quoting
women
it.
don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She did the
Stick
man's
on the
prayer. Yeah.
All right.
We talked corner gas. I mean, as I said, I think I think I'm going to get along with her just fine. But yeah, like finally somebody else who knows obscure Canadian television. This is good. It's good. So that she asked me if I'd watch.
Say that I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess. And of course, where I'm pulling for you, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had another one. I think it was
Keep your stick on the ice.
Fungus Moritatis.
Hmm.
All right, sit down. I'll have to fact check because I haven't said that one in a while.
It's been a while since I've watched Red Green. I don't know about for you, but I haven't seen it in several years now.
Yep. Quando Omni Fluncus Moritati. It's pseudo-Latin for when all else fails, play dead. Because it's the Possum Lodge.
Lodge. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, yeah. But that's like been my news. It was like Storm, new site soup. That's all I got. You know, like that was my life and my adventures for like this week. I edited an episode of the Triple B and got it up. Woo. So, it's how it goes, you know? So, and I know with your job, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't talk about. So it's, that makes it tough when like you're busy with work or when we're busy with work and there's just nothing to dive into on the old topic game. It's been interesting. I listened to way back to like episode 26 of our show during the drive. That was interesting.
Pretty rough, huh?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was interesting. That was the one, Kidder, that it was titled Breaking News, and we teased the breaking news like through the whole like show. And then when we finally got to it, it was us unveiling the merch store. That was the breaking news. And then past like a 10-minute like sales pitch from you about the merch store. It's like, oh wow, I forgot how like it's interesting, Kidder, because like we're on episode 136, and so it's just like it seems like so long ago, and yet not all that long ago. If you get that kind of feeling, it's like that's 110 episodes ago. But yet I thought it was much later in the show, like show run, that we introduced the merch store. But it's like, no, 26 weeks in, we had a merch store. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. At that point, we'd been doing the show for like half a year. So the interesting thing of looking back and listening to the old episodes. After that one, I got to our review of Extreme Rules from that year, which was noted for you saying extreme far more than like that was the Extreme Rules where there was only one Extreme Rules match and everything else was a normal match. So
yeah,
like,
we can settle all of this in a normal match.
Mm-hmm. So you did pretty well on it because I listened through it, and I think you missed one, and it was a screwy finish. That's the only reason you missed one. So
classic.
Yeah. So, but good episodes. Fun to go back and listen to the old stuff every now and then and go, oh, that's what we used to sound like. So,
I mean, it's not much different than what we sound like now. So,
I don't know. I sometimes think we get a little bit better. Tonight's kind of an off night. We're coming into it. I think both a little tired, a little like we don't have the topics like we usually do, so it's a little draggy. That happens on occasion. I mean, I was even trying to scour for like interesting news stories before we started, and it's like I got nothing. It's just nothing of interest that I like have to like share. So it's like, ooh. So, and it's not that the old stuff was terrible, but like there's definitely a change in tone and some of the things we talk about, and I think we've perfected a few things. So,
how to alienate viewers and not retain people.
Well, you say that we're up to like 140 subscribers, which was good because we were stuck at like 133 for like the longest time. So all of a sudden we're like growing again by leaps and bounds, which is interesting. No, the shorts are doing really well. So that's to me a good sign. So I tried something a little different with the Stone Cold Typist short, because there's a thing with those about trying to get them to loop. So I left off our little card that I have that plays at the end of those, and just like hopefully as people like stumble upon it, that it being only 17 seconds, that they might suck them into watching like once or twice and get our watch time on those up just a wee bit. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. I actually, thanks to one of the old episodes I listened to, we have 2 new shorts for me to put up. So hoping to get a bunch of them scheduled so people can see more of our classic content. Well, Kidder,
I mean, is it good?
Well, I mean, I'm glad you like it. I would hate you like if I was going to all the work of making these shorts, posting them, and you're just sitting over there at your place grumbling like, there goes Howard posting more short content.
More content? Why do we have this here?
We're gonna be the WWE, 5 shows, all of them 6 hours long. Nobody will have time to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a fun way to highlight like a funny thing that happens in the episodes, because sometimes almost every episode has at least one, maybe even 2 just like good moments where something just happens and it's just funny, and it's worth kind of pulling out and sharing just that short snippet and maybe getting people going, if this show is that good, like if I'm finding these small clips entertaining, maybe I will enjoy the much larger product offered by the Triple B. But I could be wrong too.
I mean, we can hope.
Well, gosh, Kidder, I really am out of topics.
Anything else you want to talk about? What have you been up to in Howard's Cave of Wonder? Have you been
I haven't
painting anything? Have you been gaming on anything?
I've done nothing with Howard's Cave of Wonder in like 2.5 months. I mean, I really have been just like work, time with family. You know, and there are like projects around the house that I like had fully intended. Like, here you go, Peter. Okay, we can talk about this. I have come to the conclusion that I suck at being prepared for winter. And I say this because like last year I had like 2 or 3 like outdoor projects. Like, I need to get this done before winter comes in. You know, buries everything under the snow. Didn't get it done. You know, there we had kind of storms in November, and it just like, oh, I didn't get all the leaves raked up. Well, that's going to be a summer Howard problem. But like this winter, Kidder, I had plans, man. I was going to get some of those like heaters. I got a couple of gutters that tend to just collect water and get jammed. I was going to put some of just kind of like those heater wires to like stop the ice jams from forming and get those installed. Didn't do it. I have there's stuff like two of my chairs out of my deck still have the cushions on, now covered in snow. Didn't get them in before the snow fell. Got another couple of chairs that we should have brought in from the gazebo. They're still sitting out there. Gonna have to dig my way out to get those. I just kind of suck at being prepared for winter.
I'll just give it this upcoming week because it'll melt a lot of that. You can at least get the chairs.
I mean, but I'm only here for like 2 more days, and then I'm back to Medora. So it'll have to be next weekend. So
maybe.
And knowing my luck, it's going to snow before I get there to it.
Let's see what I can see.
Gonna have to like dig my way out there, like with like a toboggan, load them up on a toboggan, sled it back to the house.
Thursday, slight chance of rain overnight. Friday, slight chance of rain and snow. Friday night, chance of rain and snow. Saturday, Sunday, about 35.
Of course, there would be a slight chance of rain and snow the night that I drive back. Fun. I'm not ready for winter, Kidder. I'm not. I didn't deal with my broken sprinkler before the snow came. Need to do that. I still haven't fixed that stupid sump pump because I just have not been home or had time. I'm failing, man.
Yeah, JS and I were even sitting around waiting for your phone call, and the call never came.
I can't help it. My sister was here from Michigan, and the family's like, "We're doing dinner." I'm like, but I have Kidder and JS lined up to fix this pump. I no, yeah, like it's just Yep. Can't help it. Family came first,
and the water's coming second.
I'll get it fixed by then.
Oh.
But what you do this weekend?
Next weekend, man, it's man, look at the time.
Listen, I'm surprised you didn't go, well, next weekend. Are you talking about like at time of recording or when this comes out? So like you have a month. Put it off. That would be the question. Yeah.
Probably both. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I really don't think it's going to be that hard of a repair. It's just finding the time to do it and with the kids. That's what's going to make it difficult. So, because I do have the manual for the current pump, so I can at least get a similar, make, model, specs. Because in my reading of replacing sump pumps, you need the right kind of pump for your pit. Otherwise, if it's too powerful, you could blow out your pump. And if it's not powerful enough, can't keep up. Kidder's looking with that look of like, I don't buy any of this. There's no such thing as too powerful of a pump.
Listen, I'm going to buy the most powerful pump that's out there, and I'm going to blow this stuff straight to Mandan. It's gone. Get it out of here. Doesn't belong in the basement.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'll hopefully once I am back for good, I can start tackling all of these piling up of projects. So that's my hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
well, you know where to find me, potentially at some point in time.
hey, at least I'm not asking you to help me with the drywall project I have.
If you want it crooked, measured 8 times and still wrong, I'm your guy.
No, if I want it crooked, measured 8 times and still wrong, that's my dad.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. He's well, not his strength, but yeah. I got some patchwork to do down here in the cave, in the spot. So won't be bad, but we'll see.
It's always bad. Speaking of home improvement, I rehung the blinds last week.
How was that for you?
Not good. I mean, technically only one trip to Menards, but still. Sorry. The Save Big Money Superstore, because they're not paying us to say their name.
That's okay. They won't see this with the blinds up anyway.
So we should just send them the check so then they can give us the royalties.
Yeah, I don't think they'll pay that either.
They won't pay the bill.
Yeah,
It's disappointing. I was hoping to save big money and help this show go another week.
Well, maybe if we keep mentioning them in a positive light, maybe that could help. It has worked for some people.
Some big money.
Because I mean, there are comedians and podcasters out there who have gotten sponsorships for being able to constantly say or reference places. In fact, one of those guys is actually coming to the Bell Mayhews. And I grabbed this kidder. I didn't know if I was going to use it or not, but I'll do it anyway. His name is Charlie Berenz. He does a lot of like Midwestern kind of humor stuff. And he's doing his good old fashioned tour. For those who didn't get to see Kidder's camera, he at first was nodding his head yes in agreement, and then he caught the particular old fashioned logo on there and immediately changed to shaking his head no. And now he's trying to figure out how to drop kick me through the internet. Everybody pokes you with that one. I mean, even the local geek was poking you here during the snowstorm. All right, another episode down.
If I could only breathe.
You'll find this funny, Kidder, because I pulled up that screenshot that I grabbed just to show you the comedy tour. and I hadn't noticed. But if I scrolled down just a little bit, apparently when I put Little Miss down for her nap, Junior got a hold of my phone, and so now it is filled with pictures of our carpet.
There you go.
I know it's coming in blurry, but trust me, it's literally just photos, including some burst photos where he, took multiple photos all at once. Yeah. So
it's good to really get that texture.
Oh,
Texture of the
yeah.
carpet.
I mean, he's definitely going for some like low angle, like artistic stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I haven't counted exactly how many. I guess I could try this and see just how much he 50. So 50 photos. All of carpet.
There you go.
Well, fine. On that,
Yeah, I was not thrilled about Cherry. Yeah. Well, not to end this on a down note, but I'm not sure if you heard from, I suppose, technically early this morning, overnight. There was an AHL game in England, and would be. And I really should have looked into this a little bit more before I started talking about it. But he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the guy I'm talking about is Adam Johnson. All right. He was an NCHC standout, played for Minnesota Duluth, the Bulldogs, and was drafted to the NHL, as I mentioned. And they're playing an exhibition game, or at least a game overseas in England. And I haven't watched the video. I don't know the full details about the injury, but he took a skate to the throat and later died, unfortunately. So he, again, unfortunately passed away. Former Minnesota Duluth player Adam Johnson. And born in 94, passed away 23, being a cool 29 years old, if I'm doing math correctly. Again, very sad that this sort of thing would happen. And not only that, but it being over in England. So it wasn't even here in the U.S. when it happened. But yeah, very sad for hockey.
Yeah. And that's the thing about hockey. You can get freak accidents like this. It's not uncommon. I mean, you have everybody on the ice with basically sharp blades strapped to their feet. And, all it takes is a bad collision, somebody loses their feet and just now you have these blades up where it can collide with people. So, I mean, luckily this sort of stuff doesn't happen often, but that's a terrible kind of bit of news to hear. So that's quite sad.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure you're not a huge follower of the show Friends, but Matthew Perry passed away of drowning. And some of the reports that are out there share a little bit more detail, and apparently he had been struggling with alcohol abuse for many years, including during the days of recording Friends. And potentially passed out in his hot tub at his house and drowned. So, not good.
No. You know, yeah, I did see that story. Or at least I'd seen that he'd passed. I hadn't seen the details of the story, but I will say, you know, truthfully, I understand. You know, beer is in the title of our show, but I will tell you, not everybody should drink. You know, and even then, like, I like to believe that we try to keep it to a very reasonable level on this show, and even in that way, it's not like we force people to drink or make jokes about people who don't. I mean, I drank water tonight, you know. We're about good times with friends and all of that, but man, yeah, there are people who struggle with the whole alcohol bit and just should not be near it and need to stay away from it. And I feel for anybody who's stuck on it. I mean, it's a debilitating thing in that case. So it's, you know, I've known a couple of people in my lifetime who have struggled with it and have had issues with it. And I feel for all of them. So, because it's a hard thing. And we live in a society that oftentimes really does promote drinking. You know, I know people who don't drink and they feel like they have to justify it every time they don't, because people might look down upon them if they don't partake. You know, so it's tough. It's tough in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, anybody who needs help, there are outlets. Don't struggle through it, whether it's any kind of substance abuse, and I include alcohol in substance, even gambling. You know, if you have some kind of a crazy addiction, just get some help. There are outlets there. You don't have to struggle through it alone. Just if you happen across this video, whatever corner of the internet that you come across it on, you know, there are help outlets that are available, whether it's for any kind of addiction or abuse, or even mental health. You know, if you need somebody, there's somebody out there. And hell, if you feel comfortable enough shooting us a message, feel free. The inbox is open.
Well, and I can say, Kidder, we both have known people, and there have maybe been some people who have been on this show who have found some relief just in chatting with us, not necessarily about their problems, but just having a source to talk to, a couple of good brothers, and feel like they're part of a community. So, you know, that is kind of the goal of this. Well, or at least a soft goal. You know, we hope that you feel like you're part of the community, you're part of the group, you're part of the gang whenever you are here with us here on the Triple B. So
give that a 100.
And Kidder, probably with that maybe uplifting, maybe positive kind of note to go out on, I believe I need to say it, but Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. I know it's a shorter episode. Howard has to spend time in the tube and wants to go to bed. We've been talking for a while. It's time we wrap this show up with, you know, plugs. Because, you know, we really didn't hit the plugs hard this episode. So maybe it's time we do that.
Yeah. Well, our website, first place, beerbluesbs.com. It's right here at the bottom of your screen if you're watching on the YouTube version. That is our website. We'd love for you to join us there, beerbluesbs.com. We are also, with our homepage there, able to direct you to our Facebook page. our merch store. How to buy us around or just buy us a beer. That would be great too. beerbluesbs.com. When you go there, lots of great stuff and even the direct links to our audio episodes on Podbean. And one of these days, we'll get some more links up to the other places where you can find the Triple B and get in on the action as well. Other than that, when you go to beerbluesbs.com and you click merch, you go to our one merch store. That's where you can find some great things, including pint glasses, having the old water with hops and grain, or perhaps the shower curtain or blanket of that. Maybe a straight up Triple B pint glass. There's that as well. And, Howard teasing the old fashioned no freaking cherry right there. That's the straight up regular quality old fashioned Kidder approved. By the way, you can get a Kidder approved old fashioned as a cheap plug as well to Thomas and Moriarty in Mandan. Stop over there and have a classy beverage. Whiskey Wednesdays, my favorite day, because you can get a $5 old fashioned. And man, they are tasty. So, Howard, one of these Wednesdays, telling you, you and me.
Yeah.
We're going to go.
I like your thinking on this, good sir.
So one of these Wednesdays, and not by next year. I'm talking 2023. The clock's ticking. Okay.
Hey, I got a lot of comp time built up, so.
Oh, so it's going to be one of those Wednesdays. All right, I'm going to pad the wallet, and we'll get the ride shares ready because we'll probably end up closing it down at that rate. But the best old-fashioned west of the Mississippi. There you go. Located in Mandan, North Dakota, Thomas and Moriarty's. There, good shout out for them. Speaking of good shout outs, you can shout out to us at our Facebook page. Search for Beer Blues and BS on Facebook, Beer Blues and BS on Facebook, and also on Instagram. Please like, share, subscribe, be part of the show, help us reach more people, and you know what? Spread the wealth. Okay? We want to reach more people and bring them into the Triple B family. And not just the guy named Nick who keeps sending us the same message every other week on Facebook, asking us if we have Peacock TV and if we could do a wrestling video review. Because we do wrestling reviews about every month or so. Which we've also responded, just for the clarification. We have responded, just for clarification.
I saw that he, sent us stuff again. And listen, it's not that we're not interested in maybe reviewing some of these older shows. It's just we'd almost need to have like a time where like Kidder and I could get together so that we could both watch it and have some banter back and forth. Because it's not like we can do predictions on it, or anything like that. So it's kind of one of those like we'd have to get together and watch it, and getting me and Kidder in the same place these days, a little bit of a challenge. So it makes it kind of hard to do a review on something like that. So.
And then if you want to watch a review video of that, we can't just play that video and then have us with the commentary real time. So anyway,
I mean, you could, but that would take some. It would take some work. There are ways to do it, but it'd take a lot of work, and I don't know that I want to put in that much. Because we'd have to be watching it give people like, okay, we're hitting play in 3, 2, 1, go, so that people could sync up to it. And we'd have to be listening through it on like headphones so that they're not getting the sound, so that you make that happen.
Yeah,
that sounds like
a nightmare.
Listen. Hey, when we get the big bucks and have our own studio and maybe a staff that can help us set this up, then we'll look at doing it.
More so just do the work for us. We'll be the talent.
Wait, we have to have talent?
I was going to make that joke too, but I left it a softball up there for you. So it's debatable. Anyway, we do respond to messages and we do get the messages. Unless you want to be our promotion agency for nothing and have no followers.
And we mock you.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where are we? What's happening? We are also Streamlabs. This merch store is great. I've been adding a bunch of extra merch to this merch store. Streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. You can subscribe on there, donate every month. And remember, $1 a month helps save a starving podcast host. $1 a month. That would be fantastic if you could commit to just $1 a month. We give you all this entertainment in return. $1 a month. Awesome, right? Practically free. Anyway, that's at streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. The merch store that's on there as well is pretty fun. Got a new hat. So if you want to keep warm in these cold days of doom and gloom, i.e. winter, you can get a Triple B hat. Nice little stocking cap. And I believe it has a toque. So there you go. Streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. And it's reasonably priced. How about that? Maybe a sticker, put that on your car, something like that. We got a lot of stuff. The Triple B Business Center, I should say the Big D Business Center. Triple B Business Center is right over here. But the Big D Business Center, well, that's that's wherever you go, and the bathroom will be there. Anyway, I just had to let it sink in, You hit the lever and watch it spin. Just let it sink in. So, yeah, there's that. We're also on every audio platform that's out there. YouTube podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb. If you have a subscription or an account with an audio platform, please search Beer Blues and BS, because we're probably on it. Hit subscribe. Tell us about it. We'd love to hear from you. And then, how can you do that? Again, Facebook, Instagram, our emails. Just buy us a beer, buy us around, leave a comment. We would love that too. By the way, smash the sub button if you're watching this and give us the thumbs up, please. Local Geek, thank you for your continued support and comment. We appreciate it. Howard's also giving you a thumbs up. So that's, yes, 2 thumbs up from the Triple P. Also, if you want to hear my curated list of music, the Killer Kidder Show available on Spotify for free, updated constantly. I'm adding music to it all the time. And in fact, just because it's been a bit since I've looked to see how many hours and songs are on there, we are up to 7,515 songs, which, Howard, this will get you back and forth across North Dakota a couple times. 498 hours and 6 minutes of music, personally curated by me, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Kidder. So thanks. And while you're there, subscribe to the show, subscribe to Beer, Blues, and BS. We'd appreciate it. It's available for you. It's there. Don't even have to get a Spotify subscription or anything like that. It's free. Just an account. I think that's pretty much all the cheapness that we can squeeze in. So with that, final thoughts from Howard Blues.
Well, I guess the simple thought is it's been a week, Kidder, and I'm looking forward to just one more week in Medora, being home, being able to tackle projects, being able to get back to hobbying. So 1 week to go, and I'm looking forward to kind of life slowing down a little bit and getting back into a rhythm of things. So always good to have that happen. So I'm just looking forward to that. And that's really kind of my final thought.
I can dig that. So since we finalized the final thought, I wholeheartedly concur. It's time to get the hell out of here. He's Howard Blues. I'm the man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. Thanks for joining us for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Make sure you keep your glass at least half full. No freaking cherry. There's free beer tomorrow. And yeah, we will catch you on down that icy Tuscan highway. Have a good one. See you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, Howard Blues right there, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Well, I'm ready to get this show on the road. If you're ready to get this show on the road.
I mean, I sure could be.
The classic Kidder non-committal. The longest running joke that our audience doesn't know about.
Is it a joke if it's true?
Well, that is true. It's one of those things, because with all of this stuff, we get sucked into like these little traditions of we always got to say things certain ways. And this has just been one that I've noticed for quite a while. But the audience doesn't get to see because usually I don't use that part as behind the curtain. So, but I'd like to get started. I'd like to go to bed. I'm tired. So,
sure, we might as well. For some reason, losing hearing in my ear. So, whatever.
It's just because you're getting old, man. Just because you're getting old.
You keep getting older, and I keep staying the same.
Yeah, you're just like your old yellow coat. You'll never die.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
All right, here we go.